Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Saturday and welcome to the channel. My name is Hart. Today, I'll be talking through some of my favorite early look core plays as well as doing a game by game breakdown for this two-game NBA slate. Obviously, we had a 13-game NBA slate yesterday. It was super crazy. Now we have a two-game slate. So, nice little kind of like a day off today here with this slate. So, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get into this breakdown. So, a quick recap of my lineup from last night. Um, as I talked about on my Patreon, I was really high on the Denver Lake guys, and I ended up switching out of most of them, just because I ended up having McDaniels in here as a placeholder, and I totally forgot about him. And then the slate started, and it made me so mad. I was just like, all right, whatever, screw it. I'm just gonna put some random people in here and just see if this lineup cashes. Ended up cashing. I all three of my lineups yesterday cashed. Nothing crazy, but you know what they say: a win's a win. So this was my lineup here for the main slate. Want some money back. Here was my lineup for the late or yeah, the late slate. Um, that did fine. Want some money back. And then this was my lineup for the showdown slates of the last game. And Aaron Gordon was optimal captain. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Bruce Brown. I was a couple points off, about 5 points off from first place. First place, it was DeAndre Jordan who scored, I think, or excuse me, 5 more points there than Reggie Jackson. So, yeah, saw a night there yesterday on that. Now, moving on to this two-game slate. We have Dallas and Miami as the first game here. And as I mentioned with two-game slates, everyone's pretty much in contention, right? Like, you really can't rule out anyone because everyone's in play. It's just that small of a slate. You need to consider literally everyone in your lineups if you're playing this slate tonight. So, with that in mind, Luca, I think he looks really, really solid here. Depending on his ownership, I think he might come in a little bit too low owned here on this slate, just because he's had a few big games there, 60, then 78, but then the past two, 46, 52. People think Indiana's obviously it's a slow pace matchup. It's not super, super tough. But I think Luca should be able to have his way tonight here against Miami. So I do really, really like Luca. I think Kyrie's a very, very solid contrarian play there in kind of like the lower 9K range. In a close game, he should see close to 40 minutes. We know he's solid upside there. So it really just comes down to can he hit his shots alongside Luca? If he can, he should probably get you 35, 40 plus fantasy points at 9,200. So I like both of those guys a lot there. In terms of like the secondary plays, I don't think it's necessary to land on a guy like Tim Hardaway. Like, sure, if he's shooting the ball very, very well, he could get you 25, 30 plus fantasy points. But at 5,600, I'm not ruling him out. I'm just saying he's just more of an okay secondary play. Same thing with Wood. Like, you could take that shot in Wood, hope he plays mid 20s minutes, because if he does, he could easily go off, as you can see here, 51 in 28 minutes, 38 and 29 minutes, 33 and 25. He has that huge upside. It's just, will he play the minutes? I'm not sure. They've been trending down a little bit. They have been going a little bit smaller, kind of opening up the floor, which it does suit Wood, but they've been going with Kleber. So you can keep that in mind. But he's a very, very solid, like risky GPP option if you want to go that way. Hardy, I guess he's an okay, just kind of like a punt play at 4,800. He's just too risky as a value play, so I'd consider him just more of a punt play here. You know, could he go out there and play 15, 20 minutes and shoot the ball well and maybe get extended? Sure, but as of right now, he's just a very risky punt play there, even though he's 4,800. So Bullock, I'm sure he'll be super popular, 4,500. It just really comes down to can he hit his shots. If he can, sure he could definitely get you into the 20s. I don't think it's necessary at 4,500. I'd rather take a shot in other value plays. So I guess it's really just kind of ownership dependent on all these lower owned guys, or excuse me, all these cheaper guys. Like Josh Green, I'd rather take a shot on Josh Green than Kleber, or excuse me, than Bullock, really, just because Josh Green's a high energy guy. He go out there, get a couple rebounds, couple steals, maybe score some points. So yeah, I'd rather take a shot on him. If he's doing well, they will extend him. So I think I'd prefer him over Bullock. Kleber, I'm sure he'll be super popular. The minutes have been trending up. A guy who obviously has a very low fantasy point floor, as you can see, 11.5 in 26 minutes. But he also can go out there and get you 25 plus, 30 if he's doing really well on the court. So I think he's a pretty solid value play for tonight. A 3 and D guy kind of. So I think he looks decent. And then Powell, Just the minutes are just not there, right? So they're just pretty much playing a smaller lineup like um, Kleber, Josh Green at times, Reggie Bullock, a little bit of Hardy, Hardaway, Kyrie, and then Luca. So not really going to the big guys here. So they're all pretty much out of play as of right now. But you can definitely take a shot on them. If I was to take a shot on one of the centers, it'd probably be Kleber, even though he's technically the power forward. But yeah, I mean, Kleber probably looks the best of all of the bigger guys in Dallas. On the Miami side here, Jimmy Butler 8,500. I think he looks very very solid. A couple of down games, 26 fantasy points there against Brooklyn, 24 against New York. Just wasn't aggressive. 6 to 13, 18 points, and then 5 to 10, 12 points. So a few down games for Jimmy. I expect him to come back out firing today. I think he looks very, very solid at 8,500. I think it's one of those spots where not a lot of people are going to want to go to him. Maybe if Bam's out, they will. But if Bam's in, I think a lot of people are going to want to go to Bam or Tyler. Maybe take a shot on other guys rather than pay up for Jimmy. So I think Jimmy's a very solid play there at 8,500. Bam's out. Obviously, that's huge news there because if he's out, it should open up the starting lineup. They'll probably start. I don't know. They'd probably go small just because Dallas is not huge. They don't really have a center. So I wouldn't be surprised if they throw in like a Struce in the starting lineup for Bam, or if they go with maybe like a Oladipo. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll throw in Zeller. Who knows? But if that's just kind of the news there we have to wait for. If Bam does play, I think he looks super solid at 7,400. Not really sure who would be able to guard him. Kleber, I'd love that matchup for Bam. So I'd really, really like Bam if he does play there. Um, Obviously, if he's out, it's just a huge bump to guys like Tyler Hero and Jimmy. So they both look really good at their price tags. Struce would look better if he does start for Bam. If Bam's out, I think we get at least 20, mid 20s minutes from him. He's super score independent, but he'd be a fine value play at 4,400. And then it kind of bring into guys like the question mark for me is Kyle Lowry. Is he going to play? If he plays, I think you definitely take a shot at him at 4,000. But if he's out, I'd really like Victor Oladipo at 3,500. A guy that's been seeing like mid-teens to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more if he's doing well. So he's definitely in contention there. So yeah, I do have a good amount of interest in these lower tier guys. Like maybe they slot Kevin Love to the center. They'll put Struce in at the small forward, obviously Jimmy power forward, Tyler Hero shooting guard, and then Vincent at at point guard. So they can definitely do that. They can definitely throw a few more minutes to Kevin Love's way. I want to expect them to go crazy, maybe 25 ish. And at 4,200, I think he's another fine value play. So I think overall, Vincent, I mean, you could get to him, as you can see there. He shot the ball extremely well. So he played 31 minutes, but he could go out there and play 18, 22 minutes, get you 9, 10 fancy points, or get you 25. So he's another one of those dart throws you can definitely take a shot on. Um, yeah, I don't love it, but he's definitely there. Caleb Martin, another kind of high energy guy that I don't mind taking a shot on. He's, going to be out there. He's going to be able to score some points, get some rebounds, maybe get some blocks or steals. If he's hitting some threes, getting some rebounds, he could easily pay off his price tag. So he'd probably be my favorite of the lower owned guys if Kyle Lowry's in, or the cheaper guys I should mention. If Lowry's out, I think it'd be Victor Oladipo, then Martin for me of the cheaper guys. Robinson has been getting some run. I wouldn't go there. And then if Zeller does start, you could definitely take a shot on him if he's starting for Bam. But right now, I think that's just a little bit of a reach there. Maybe they go crazy. Maybe they throw in Yurt, but I doubt they will. So right now, obviously, if there's Bam, my interest is really just gonna be Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Hero, and then maybe taking a shot on a guy like Vincent, or excuse me, on Martin or Oladipo if I want some cheaper value. Now, if Bam's out, um, really really like Jimmy Tyler for obvious reasons, and then I'd think whoever starts in place of Bam, whether that's Struce, I think he looks good. If maybe Kevin Love slots to the center, he'd look pretty solid there at 4,200. And then we could definitely take shots on guys like Oladipo and Martin off the bench. So there is a good amount to like here for the Miami side with that news. Moving on to the Clippers side, Kawhi looks great at 10K. They pulled him in that second game. He only played 18 minutes because they wanted him for this game today versus the Pelicans. So I think Kawhi looks like a great spin up. I think it'll be pretty low owned. People are going to be scared of that 18 minutes, and they're going to rather pay for other people. So I think Kawhi looks great. Russ, we know he is upside there, triple double upside. Only played 26 minutes, but still, we know he is decent upside. So he's always in play. But I'd rather just pay up for Kawhi, and that's really it. Eric Gordon is questionable, and so is Marcus Morris Sr. If they're both out, we could get that starting lineup of Kawhi, PG, who else? Batum, Zubac, and I would assume maybe Man. So if that happens, Man, I think he'd be a solid value play at 5,000. I'd still only really like Kawhi, and then the other guy in the starting lineup I'd take a shot on would probably be Zubac. We know he has huge upside. It's just can he get the minutes? Now he did that in 26 minutes, but it's either he goes out there gets you 15 to 20 in like mid 20s or mid teens minutes, or he goes out there plays 25, 30 plus, and he's in that smash. So another one of those guys you can throw in the bucket of, um, you know, if he gets minutes, he'll smash. If he doesn't, he's super, super risky. With that small chance, he actually does very well in those minutes. Kind of like your Christian Wood. So he is there. I don't mind him. I guess Batum's a fine value. He should start, see 19 plus minutes, I'd say is fair. It's looking like. So, I mean, he could go off. He's really hitting shots, but you're really trying to force him in there. I think Powell would probably be my favorite there. You know, Past 2 games, he's been back 24 minutes, 25. Now, he did get a few extra minutes because Kawhi was out. He's starting to place with him in the second half. But I think Powell looks really, really solid here. They're going to really need a secondary scorer off the bench. We know the upside with Powell, so he looks great there. Plumlee only played 13 minutes. I don't think there's a need to get to him. Covington, it'll be interesting to see how many people chase him. Now, if he starts, I think it'd be a great play. But if he comes off the bench, 4,100, minutes aren't a guarantee, and people are probably going to chase that 43 and a half. They'll see that box score and be like, oh, let me take a dart throw on him. So let's wait and see the ownership there. And then on the Pelican side, Ingram looks great there. Excuse me, 9,500. Now, I think this is a price tag that will keep people away from him. I mean, he's been playing great, but I just think people will see the price tag 9,500 and just won't click on him, even though he's had huge upside, been super, super solid. So I think he looks great here in a tough matchup. J-Val, it's just kind of the minutes thing, right? Like, I guess the Clippers could go small and kind of ruin the minutes for JV. I mean, he only played 25 there versus Denver. The game did blow out, but the minutes haven't been the best past 2 games for him, so definitely keep that in mind. But I think he's still too cheap there if you think he's getting 25, 30 plus minutes at 7,600. CJ coming off a bad game there. I don't mind buying into him. He's had 2 bad games in a row. We know the upside with him is like 40, 45 plus, so I think he looks pretty solid there as like a contrarian mid-range option. Now the wings here really don't have much interest in them. I mean, I guess Trey Murphy's fine. He's been hitting his threes. Herb Jones, I guess he's an okay, kind of like a dart throw in that range. Josh Richardson, okay. No real interest in those wings for me. Najee, I guess a cheaper wing you could take a dart throw salary relief on, but that's about it. It's really just kind of the main 3 guys for the Pelican side for me. And if you were to take a shot on the wing, I'd say Trey Murphy or maybe a Larry Nance if you think they go smaller. He did see 23 minutes, obviously a blowout, but he's definitely in there for consideration if the Pelicans, or if the Clippers go small, the Pelicans will probably go small. So as of right now, that is the slate breakdown. In terms of other like early core plays, I think Luca is going to be one of them for me. And then on the Miami side, obviously the big news there is Bam. So let's just say for now that he's in. If he's in, I think it's going to be hard not to play him. And then we'll go to one more play here. We'll just go with the Caleb Martin for now. 3,900 Caleb Martin. That is the 4 early core plays. If you like the video, hit that like button. Make sure to check out my PrizePicks video, which will be out after this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.